And there are multiple characters I can show you of what they look at. I'll do it after this one more tour. The one I'm doing. Bing. So I start here.
Welcome to Roman aqueducts. Water management was taken seriously by the Romans. Cyrenaica benefited greatly from Roman administration with the construction of aqueducts and canals. The source of water varied depending on the location. Many aqueducts were built at the foot of the mountains, offering greater flow from the melting snow.
Oh, this one's far away.
The ability to transport water over a greater distance increased agricultural production. Some aqueducts were reported to be over 7 kilometers in length. Where the Greeks of Libya originally focused mainly on olive trees and figs, which required less water, the advent of Roman aqueducts allowed for a far greater crop diversity. Every farm's water use was carefully scheduled.
Romans like to be organized. I see that? No. Damn, these ones are far away. I hate that.
The engineering methods used to create aqueducts were constantly reviewed, with a clear focus on exploiting the local environment. Materials, water usage, cleaning regulations, and a
What
deep
is this?
understanding of how to exploit gravity itself were all important concerns. Several fortresses were built to protect the aqueducts, basins, and cisterns.
Okay, what is this? Roman leveling tools / Roman Empire / National Museum of... I don't know how to say that. Oh, great. Do I have a horse? Yes, I have a horse. Thank God. Okay. She's supposed to go here.
Additional water was collected with wells and cisterns, but aqueducts were the main supply of fresh water. The water was distributed based on the collective needs of the city before the private needs of an individual.
Oh, this is the last one.
Almost all aqueducts ended in a fountain where the water circulated to clean the streets and supply bathhouses and latrines.
There's no
thus
picture for
improving
this
the
one.
cleanliness of Cyrenaica's cities.
Okay, so we completed another tour. Now, I am just gonna get ready for our tour that I'm pretty sure is here. Daily life. I'm pretty sure there's one about the Pharaoh over here. But let's go into the characters. So we got Cleopatra here. So this is what Cleopatra, well, this is what they're thinking Cleopatra would have looked like. Right, so here we're in a timeline. So I can't see what is here on my TV, so sorry about that, miss. The Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom, etc. This, and then we go to here today. So Cleopatra was before, or BC was in BCE, like the very end of it. I wonder if I can actually go visit Pharaoh Tut. So this is the Cleopatra skin character we can wear, whatever you want to call it. And then we have this Pharaoh. I don't know what his name is. What is his name actually? Theos. Yeah, it's Photophazer. Oh yeah, so this guy here and Cleopatra are family members. And this is a Magi, which is I'm not really sure if this is in Egypt or not, but he's like one of the old kingdom protectors who serve the pharaoh. Oh. Oh. So if I find, so this is what the little Egyptian boys wear. Well, some of them. I don't know if they all wear this. This is what most of them, I'm guessing, wear. They all don't look like this though. And then we got this Egyptian girl. Oh, pretty sure they all wear different dresses though, but they do wear dresses. Not like Greek, not like the Greek ones. Yeah. So this is what the little female kids would look like when they're, you know, this is hard to explain. Moving on to the adults. I don't know if this is one. Nope. Crazy man. Oh, okay, this is a good one. One to describe. For an example, I mean. I messed up with my words today. So, most female Egyptian women would wear their bra and their skirt. And what is she wearing? Shoes, actually. I think so they are wearing shoes right now. And I actually think some of you guys are speaking Egyptian right here. Yeah, here's another example of a woman here. Actually, wait, she's Greek, so that's not a good example. Egyptian, this guy says, oh, so this is an actor, Egyptian actor. One of the famed actors of ancient Egypt in costume, okay. An Egyptian woman wearing clothing typical for the common Egyptian folks of the era. And we have the Egyptian noblemen. I think that's what they're calling them. Wearing clothing typical for the nobility of ancient Egypt. So let's take a look at him. He's wearing his fancy hat, His belt and skirt. Yeah. And he's wearing a fancy necklace around his neck. What? Why is the necklace around his neck? That's weird. Okay, so now I'm going to look for the last tour I was looking for. I think it's in the Egypt one. There's a tour about the pharaoh. We can look at the gladiator, you know, but I'm looking for a pharaoh one. We can do Siwa. Another one of Alexandria. The Greek pharaohs. Nah. I'm looking for an actual pharaoh. There's gotta be one in daily life, right? Oil in ancient Egypt? What? Okay. Mummies of ancient Egypt. Okay, we'll just go with this one. This one, and this will be my last one of the bonus in my assessment, miss. And I think I'll go as the Cleopatra for this one, or the Pharaoh. I don't know. Oh, and after this, I will be posting it on YouTube. And yeah. Mummies of ancient Egypt. Learn about the process of mummification in ancient Egypt. Start tour.
Welcome to Mummies of Ancient Egypt.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna tell me about mummies?
The mummification process used by ancient Egyptians was highly ceremonial in nature. The different types of mummification took into account the social level and richness of the deceased and even included animals. The most expensive was that reserved for the pharaoh and the royal family, as well as some of the wealthiest members of the court.
Okay. So the one who were the richest and the court got the best, and the royal family as well got the best treatment.
The first step was cleaning. Once bodies arrived at the mummification site, they were placed on inclined tables while the bodily fluids drained away. They were then cleansed
So
by
this is the bottle of
priests
fluid
until they were
I
deemed
guess
ready
they
for the
use
purification
for the
process.
mummification. And right here we see a guy being mummified. Yeah, he's been crucially stabbed. That's his organs taken out. Oh, in the mummification process. So they're probably in a jar somewhere.
The purification of the body began with a libation from sacred water. The priest then fumigated the body with terebinth resin. After the ritual cleansing, priests used oils, spices, and all kinds of essences to further purify the body of the deceased. Finally, all body hair was meticulously removed.
Okay, so they're shaved bald. So you made them bald, that's it. Okay.
Once the body was properly purified, embalmers removed the organs, following very specific procedures. First, the brain was extracted by inserting a spoon through the nostril to break the ethmoid bone. Then, using a spatula,
Ew.
the pieces of the brain were removed as thoroughly as possible. What matter remained was extracted after a process of liquefaction, achieved through the use of a caustic liquid. The cranial box, once emptied, was rinsed and disinfected with palm wine, and then stuffed with strips of linen cloth and liquefied resin.
Ew. Dude, that's a... Oh, gross. They just took out the brains then. Gross.
After taking care of the brain, embalmers made an incision on the left flank and carefully set aside the viscera.
Look, see that? They're sticking
The
out their
inside of the
nose.
body
That's
was
how they take
also
the brain
rinsed
out,
with
they
palm
said.
wine. Then the embalmers filled the
Gross.
belly with pure myrrh, cinnamon, and other perfumes, and sewed it shut. The removed viscera were washed in palm wine and packed in crushed herbs before being placed in canopic jars.
Why are you playing with his corpse? That's gross.
Canopic jars were placed close to the sarcophagus or kept in a chest nearby. At first, the viscera were wrapped in tissue and placed in the vases. As the ritual requirements became more elaborate, ointments, spices, and even water and natron were added to the process.
So that's the box the organs would be in, I guess. Okay. What's that of? I don't know that statue. Okay. So here's a body we can look at. Oh, sweet, we can get an underlook. Okay. That's a lot of blood. So, here he is, the cut in his chest, shaved bald, and no more brains. Okay. I don't want to see the brain thing again, that's gross.
Towards the middle of the New Kingdom, canopic jars assumed the appearance of the four sons of Horus. They were known as the protectors of the viscera. These protectors had their own guardians, each a goddess of the dead. Imseti, the human-headed god, protected the liver and was protected by the goddess Iset. Hapi, the baboon-headed god, protected the lungs and was protected by the goddess Nephthys. Dumathef, the jackal-headed god, protected the stomach and was protected by the goddess Neith. And
Oh,
finally,
she was gonna say Anubius.
the falcon-headed god, protected the intestines and was protected by the goddess Selket.
Okay. That jar right there, the Anubius looking one, I legit thought they were gonna say Anubius, so no man. So these coffins here must have people in them. And this must be something about the mummification process, I guess. I don't know. What are the scales of balance on his head?
Natron is a naturally occurring mineral found in evaporite. These sedimentary rocks are made up of mineral salts and were generally mined from lake beds in Egypt.
So, this is mineral salt, I guess. Right here. And there is a lot of it on the ground. Oh. This is a guy. This is a guy about to be mummified. So we still got a long way to go.
Embalmers used natron as a desiccant to dry the flesh and stop the corpse's putrefaction process. Once the body was cleansed and eviscerated, the deceased was covered in natron for about 40 days. Once
40
desiccated,
days.
the body was prepared to be wrapped in strips of linen.
So they filled us up with that stuff right there. This guy's getting filled up with right now. No. They leave him for 40 days. And then wrap him. That's weird. Okay. So now we gotta go all the way over here. Follow the line.
Once the body was fully desiccated by the natron treatment, embalmers oiled, painted, and sometimes even added hair extensions or a wig. They often used a henna-based antiseptic preparation to give the body a more colorful and lively appearance while preparing it to resist molds and fungi.
Fake hair. Wig of human hair and beeswax. I don't want to wear that. That has beeswax.
Next came the phase which gave mummies their most well-known appearance, the wrapping. Originally, each part of the body was wrapped separately. Men had their arms crossed on their chests, while women had the right arm folded over their breasts and the left arm stretched along the body. However, techniques evolved over time. Eventually, the body as a whole was wrapped with limbs alongside the body, and increasingly sophisticated and different techniques of weaving flax bands were developed.
So this is a mummy. Go back into this. This is a
Next
mummy
came
as
the
well.
phase which gave mummies their most well-known appearance, the wrapping. In addition to the jewelry and amulets arranged on the skin of the deceased, amulets were also carefully inserted into the weaving of the linen strips. Each amulet was linked to a myth or to an ideological belief related to rebirth.
Okay, so this here, amulets and that, were put inside the wrapping of the body, I guess.
Masks were an important part of a mummy's finery. Early wooden funeral coverings were very expensive, however, and soon replaced by masks created through a technique known as cartonnage. Masks fashioned with this method were created by laying several layers of linen or papyrus pulp on a base made of mud or straw.
Papyrus.
Cartonnage was used for more than funerary masks. Ornaments and the animal coffins of the late period were also made in such a fashion.
Okay. And what is he doing? I don't know. So this is the coffin in here. Here. With the markings and that on it. And I will just hop on the ground now.
Cartonnage evolved to cover the entire body of the mummy during the 22nd dynasty. The mummies were placed on a board inside a rigid envelope of cartonnage, which was laced at the back with a string. Extremely cost-effective and visually pleasing, this technique was very popular through all layers of the society.
So this is a picture from a museum of an actual mummy case and its body. So what's this one? 17? 15.
Cartonnage envelopes were usually covered with inscriptions and polychrome decorations, specifying the names and titles of the deceased, scenes depicting daily life, or decorations specific to the funerary world. This was a true gift for Egyptologists eager to study the funerary rites of the ancient Egyptians.
So these are the gifts that they're giving, suppose, I think.
Once the mummy was properly wrapped and adorned, the embalmers proceeded with the ceremony of the opening of the mouth. A vital step of the funerary process, This ceremony was meant to bring back to life the deceased themselves, or an object representing the deceased.
Okay, he's bring him back, or an object representing them. Okay.
There were no less than 75 different stages for the opening of the mouth. It
75.
required the application of the same oils, ointments, spices, and perfumes used during the mummification process. Makeup was sometimes part of the process as well.
Okay, so these are the tools they use. Model of the opening of the mouth. Ritual requirements. Okay, so that's it. If you don't know where I'm getting most of this stuff, it's up in the top middle.
The last stage of this long ritual was the act of touching the mouth with the adze to symbolically allow the breath of life to infuse an inert body. Its performance was reserved for a very specific set of people: priests who wore the mask of the god Anubis, a close relative of the family, or by the heir to the throne.
And for that, I have finished just the bonus part of my assessment that I am doing without being told. So that's how mummification works, miss. I will now end the video here.